I'm Rebecca. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Nessa.
This is the Family Showdown!
Woohoo! Welcome back, you lovely people. Welcome to Family Showdown Live. Shenanigans. Board games. Board games with shenanigans.
You missed the title. It's rambunctiousness.
Oh, tonight is rambunctious night. Yes! Bring it.
Alright, let me get the chat up here.
Oh my gosh, if you guys saw the pile of games that we have going on. It's greatness.
Yeah, let's see how many games
Hey
we're going to talk
peeps, good to see you guys.
We're going to talk about 25, 26 games, something like that tonight.
Almost 30.
Almost 30, but we didn't play all of those.
Nah, it's true. I know. Almost.
Alright, so here we go. So resolution update, that's what we always start with. So let's give you little stats for those that are statistically inclined.
Statistically inclined.
So, our collection is currently at 372 games. That's gone up and down in the last 2 weeks.
A veritable roller coaster.
We played
of emotions.
225 games out of that 372 for 60.5% of our games played. Over 60%. 254 days have passed in this year of our resolution out of 365. That's 69.6%.
So, hey, we're only like 9% off.
Yeah. So we should be at 259 games played. We're at 225 games played. So we're 34 behind. We actually caught up in the last 2 weeks slightly. So
Hey.
So instead
Baby
of
steps.
instead of 1.34 games per day, we need to play it's 1.32 games per day. We need to play.
What? That's not catching up.
We caught up a little bit.
So we can play a third of a game less or something.
So we got 22 games on our collection played. We've added 4 new games, and we culled 5 games, which we'll talk about the new games as we go, and the culls as we go as well.
Yes.
So let's see
Hello,
what we
dear.
got going on.
Chat people are showing up.
All right.
Hello, peoples.
Everything is doing good. So as always, those 22 games are going to be ranked from worst to first.
What?
Worst to first.
I think I see some...
Worst.
Oh, I think I see. Okay.
Worst
I was about to have some
to first.
fisticuffs.
All right, so we're going to start it off with number 22.
Is it a rambunctious game?
It is not rambunctious. It's a very boring game. Number 22, I rated this a 6, and that's pushing it. Because it's not really a 6. It's more like a 5, but I'm being nice by making it a 6.
Okay.
And that is Rivals for Catan.
Okay. I'll be honest. Okay.
Rebecca finally saw the light. We played it one more time. She saw the light.
It's not a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's just... It's not... I don't know. I want to like it more than I do. I really, really, really wanted to like it better. I still like it better than just straight up playing Catan. It's cards. It takes a huge table presence, though. Once you get going, I mean, I'm talking like huge table presence because you build your road like this laterally, and you can build up to 2 if you upgrade those towns to cities. You can have 2 cards above it or below it. So you're going to end up with, up to 5 cards stacked high and then this wide for each person. So it takes a lot of table space. But it's, again, the thing with, I guess the dice. Maybe it's just the dice kill it. You can have a really awesome game with this or a terrible one. Or just a really bleh. I don't know. It just depends on how things pop up, right? Sometimes it's not good combos. Yeah, you're holding back. I can tell. Look at the restraint. This is rambunctious night. What is going on?
All right, this is a piece of crap.
That is not.
All right, so this is Catan the card game. That's what Kabuki did. She said that. I think that's the new name for it. This is a 2-player version of Catan. It's all driven by cards, and then you roll some dice to get resources. It is way too long.
It's too long too.
It's
for
too long.
They could have shortened it.
We have 20 easily small 2-player games I'd played before this game.
Yeah.
So this one is getting cold. Bye, Catan.
Bye, Catan.
All right, number 21. I rated this one a 6. It's more like an 8-ish or a 9-ish for kids.
Oh, okay. I was like...
But this is my rating, and I rated a 6. And that's VivaTopo.
Okay, this is a cute little kid's
So it's a
game.
great kids game, but for adults, this is kind of not much to it. So
It's roll and move for one thing, but it's also a risk taker sort of game. You're just pressing your luck. When do you want your little mice to bail before the cat catches up? It's a cute game, but you're right, not for adults per se, because there's really no.
But it's
strategy.
It's interesting. There is some strategy. When do you jump your mice into the side to avoid getting
for
killed?
For adults, though, it's kind of.
It's okay. I mean, but
it's really cute.
It's a kids game that families can play together. Totally. That's tolerable. And
the pieces are really adorable in this. Just saying. So
there you go. Viva.
Yes, I think this is what Topo Shisho. Topo.
Topo?
Topo.
VivaTopo? Alright. Alright, number 20. Number 20 is...
this one?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a game I really, really want to like, but I don't.
Oh, man. Arabian Nights.
So, this game has a lot of potential. And I like the stories that are involved, but there's a few things that I don't necessarily care for. One, the randomness of this game is off the complete charts. It is just insane. Because you may go up and say, you want to go help the beggar, and the beggar pulls out a knife and stabs you.
Yeah, and you're like,
what?
It's got
it's just...
choose your own adventure randomness to it on... crack. Because it's like stuff that you think would really be a good logical choice end up biting you when you make the decision and you're like, really? There's no rhyme or reason to it, right? Which it's fun. It's just it takes hours and hours.
It's
even 2-player.
It's way too random. It's way too long. I mean, we've only played this 2 players and it's too long. I could not imagine playing this. What does it go up to?
6, I think.
6 players. It would take you a month and a half to play this 6 players.
I know, because it takes hours to just 2 play. But it's.
I wish it was more. The stories were more cohesive, but it's like you have like dice for stories. You like roll some dice and let's see what happens. I mean, it's just, there's no. I mean, it's somewhat brilliant how they designed it, because you have like an encounter and then you're given like a code word for the encounter, so if it may be wizened. And so you go to a little chart, and then it gives you these choices that you can do. Cool. You could attack it, or help it, or trick it, or whatever. And that leads you to a paragraph that gives you a story. And you may have some skills that make the story do different things, but there's no cohesiveness, because I go to one place and I do something, and it's going to be completely different than the encounter I just had before. Every single encounter is completely random. There's no connections between them. It's just like you spin a big wheel and see what happens. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. If they tightened this up a lot, it'd be an amazing game. But for what it is, it's long.
It's long. So this one is going bye-bye as well.
Bye.
Bye, Arabian Nights.
It was fun. We had fun with you.
All right, number 19. 19. Another kids game. I like this one a little bit more than the previous kids game, so this one gets a slightly better rating, and that's Frog Riders. So,
yay!
This one's actually gives you some choices for a kid.
I like this one.
This is I guess is more of a kind of
maybe
a little bit older kid family game. It gives you some interesting choices. It's fun. It plays really fast. That's one thing it has going for it.
It does.
It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just interesting. You have these little frogs and frog rider guys, and they're hopping over each other.
It's cute.
And it's kind of like checkers in a way, because you leap over a frog, you get a frog, and depending on the color of the frog, you can keep it for set collection, or you can spend it to get a benefit. And it's got some good choices. It's got some cards you can get for superpowers. It's kind of I wouldn't say a Euro game, but take like checkers and a Euro game, mush them together.
Yeah, because everything's got their own power and
Right.
stuff, and you can learn to use them in a super way and go diagonally or something too. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a neat little family game.
It's awesome. I like this one a lot. The girls like.
I'm not doing my ratings.
Oh, look at you.
The one before it, Arabian Nights, I gave a 6. Frog Riders, I gave a 6, but it's really more of a 7 or 8 if you can take kids into consideration.
Heck yeah.
So we're keeping that one because the kids like that one.
Yep.
All right. 18. Thebes.
Thebes. This is the best random game. If you want random, this game is for you.
You know, when I was a younger
lad,
I always get those wrong. I don't know why.
I don't know what's wrong.
When I was a younger lad, 5 years ago, I tolerated crazy, random, goofy stuff. I learned in my older days.
No, you're just getting old and cranky.
In my later years, in my latter years, in my waning years, I feel I tolerate randomness quite as much as I used to.
No, it's...
And this one is goofy random because basically you spend like the first half of the game building up and getting all this research and knowledge and information, and you go out to this archaeological
Archaeological?
a dig site, and you go and you try to dig some artifacts up, and depending on how much research you did, you might get to pull like 10 things out of a bag, and you can pull out nothing but dirt. So
yeah, it's great.
Someone could pull 3 things out of the bag and get 3 incredibly amazing artifacts, and you can do 10 to 12 and get like 1 little thing.
If you're lucky. Yes, for those of you that watch Dice Tower, this is the one that Sam hates. With good reason.
You know what? When I first played this game, I disagreed with Sam, but I've learned the error of my ways. I agree with Sam because I built up, in the game that we played, I built up like the yellow dig site. I don't know where it was. I built up all this knowledge, all this research. I got rumors and all this stuff, and I went out there and I drew like 12 things out of the bag.
Yeah.
And I got like 4 points worth of artifacts. And then someone else did 3 things out of the bag and got 12 points worth of artifacts.
Wasn't me.
And at that point, I realized I was wrong.
Oh, it's... If you don't care... I mean, that's a dig.
If you like goofy fun and randomness and silliness and laughing at people like me who dig junk out of the bag and get nothing, it's okay, but... My tolerance of this kind of game is gone away. I like how
you move around the board, and I like the way that they use
time. The game is interesting.
I like that. It's just, you build up... I think what everybody's hating, right, is just the fact that you work so hard. You should feel like you get some reward for all of the effort and research you put into it. Yeah.
But it's random. I mean, it's just. I guess it's just as random as rolling dice and just getting unlucky with dice, right?
I feel at least I'm pulling stuff and
stuff. But yes, it's bag pulling. You're pulling chips out of the bag. And what's worse is there's like a certain number of artifacts and a certain number of dirt tokens out.
Back
when you pull all the stuff out, you take the artifacts you get, and then all the sand goes back in. So it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes by.
Oopsies.
The thought would be is you're gathering more knowledge and more information, so you get to pull more from the bag, but your odds just go down, down, down. And if you focused in on one area, and someone gets lucky and gets all the artifacts, then you're wasting your time even digging there. So, goodbye, Thebes.
It is thematic, Dan. I agree.
But you know what else? Goodbye, Thebes.
Bye, Thebes.
Goodbye, Thebes. And that one got a 6 as well.
Oh man, this makes me sad.
Onward to another one. This one
has memories attached.
This one has nostalgia attached to it because we got this game when it first came out, and of course I can't find the year that it actually came out.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Maybe it's 1902. It has a 1902 over here. No,
give me that. I'll look while you're talking.
But anyway, we got this probably right here.
Oh.
No.
Nope.
Right here.
2009.
So we got this when it first came out, 2009. This is one of the first games we bought as a couple. We actually didn't buy it. It was gifted to us. Mm-hmm. And we played this game, and I've come to believe that there is 3,000 Euro games better than this game.
Well, yeah, now. But when we were first getting into it, no. You know.
It was fun. It's silly fun. It's still fun to laugh
It's
when you beat people at bids. Basically, it's a blind bidding game. So you bid to influence all these areas. And when you influence, you get like more stuff to bid on next turn, as well as putting cubes on a board, and it's area control on a board. But yeah.
Well, and we had to house. I don't know if we house ruled or used an alternative.
It's a variant.
Rule.
We do play where you don't lose your bids, because it is. If you do that, it is
ridiculous. I mean,
brutal.
you'll never. Yeah.
I mean, I think we played it once or twice that way, and we're done with this, because literally someone could get nothing and lose everything they have in the same turn. They get nothing and lose everything. Yeah, because
basically what they do is if you bid, even if you lose and you don't get anything, you would lose whatever you put the bid for, which was just, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Because it's really hard to scrap and get some of that stuff sometimes, especially when everybody keeps overlapping. Sometimes it
have some major runaway leader problems that way,
because
someone wins all the bids. So not only are they going to get to influence all those areas, they
keep getting better.
They get more powerful things to bid on next turn. You're going to get the weakest 5 of the weakest tokens to bid with, whereas they've got more powerful tokens. So next turn they're going to win again and again and again.
Yeah, you're not going to get ahead.
Yeah, it's
really
brutal. But
not going to do that.
But I think. My gut tells me, since this is from Steve Jackson Games, this is supposed to have like the Munchkin vibe, where you go, ha ha ha, look what happened to you, ha ha, you got nothing. I mean,
we'll do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, then don't bid and lose. That's awesome. Good advice. Yes.
Well said. So we played this one to death, and I think we played it. It was very lackluster play last time we played it. It was
we had fun though.
It was all right.
It's aged for us, and but it's kind of sad again because.
Goodbye, Revolution! We're calling like crazy because you know what? Gen Con's right around the corner.
Oh,
that's all I gotta say.
No, crazy.
All right. So are we done with Coles? We were done with Coles in the resolution update. We'll talk about something else a little bit later.
Ooh,
so we're number 16. Number 16 is right down there. Thunder and Lightning. This one gets a 7, so we're into the 7s now. So apparently that's my line in the sand is 7s, getting rid of games. So Thunder and Lightning. Rebecca likes this a lot more than I do.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not crazy about it. I think it's kind of fun. But you're lining up cards and you send to whatever's in the forefront to attack each other. And it's kind of weird the way Thor and the Ravens and all that work. That's the only thing that's weird.
Yeah, you think Thor and Loki would be crazy powerful, but they're easily defeated.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So I guess you have to pick when you play them. But anyway, it's kind of like I call it Strategio, the card game, because you have like 3 columns of cards, but the front rows you can like kind of bump against your player. How if you ever played Strategio, you take your little token and you tap the other piece and you go, hey, do I win? That's kind of the way it works here. The front lines bump into each other, and if you have a higher strength, you defeat the other one. But then just like in Stratego, certain pieces are better at fighting other pieces and things like that.
Yep.
But and just like Stratego, you have a flag. There's basically a flag that's in your hand or could be on your board. And the whole goal of the game is to capture the other person's flag. It's like Odin's ring or something like that.
Yeah.
As soon as you do that, the game's over. I think I would rate this better. But the one thing I dislike is because you could literally lose the game on the very first play of the very first turn of the game.
If you were crazy enough to put that in the front row...
No, you put it in your hand.
Oh, that's true.
And it plays a raven and plucks it out of your hand.
That's true. I keep forgetting it's out of your hand. Because I was thinking about if you had put it in your front row or something. But you're right. That's where it would be. Yep. So
that's not only minus, but I guess you just shuffle up and deal again, right? If that happens. But
which... I don't know.
It's fluky. I mean, we had one game. We played twice. The first game was over like in 10
Yeah, it was
turns.
pretty. It was short.
10 actions. I think you get 5 actions per turn.
Yeah, I got crazy lucky with my cards though.
Yeah, and then the second one went a long time, and we actually
we fought that one out.
And you eventually figured out where my guy was because I couldn't help. I kept defending him. It was obvious I was defending this one card. And she eventually was able to kill it.
It's like,
so it's a cute little card game. It plays pretty quick, half hour or so.
Yeah, and it doesn't really need this size of box even. That's the nice thing. You could pack this up easily.
It's a deck of cards and some tokens.
A couple tokens. So you could put this in something even more portable
and
take it places.
And it's by the famous Richard Borg.
It is, which is very
Richard
cool.
Borg. It's a re-theming of Hera and Zeus, I think, maybe?
Zeus and Hera? Hera and Zeus?
Hera.
Yeah, you're right. You did tell me that one.
Something like that.
So, there you are, people.
Anyway, so that's a good one. So we're moving on.
Yes. Ooh.
I don't think I've been doing the numbers, but we're up to number 16. So here comes number 15.
Math.
Paperback.
Whoop.
So we're going to have a bunch of word games right in a row. Back to back to back. Back to back to paperback. So paperback. So this one I give a 7. Rebecca loves this game. This game will never be cold because it's like one of her faves.
Maybe someday. I'm kind of liking another game that's
I know. We're going to mention that.
It's edging, but yes. Yeah, this one's fun just for something different because we don't have a lot of word games that we enjoy that are like gamery word games.
So this is if a deck building game and Scrabble had a baby.
Yes.
So it's a word building deck building game. So your hand's going to be made up of a bunch of different letters with superpowers and combos and wild cards and stuff. And so you build a word which give you a certain amount of money. You use that money to buy cards. Eventually you're going to build up enough to start buying victory point cards. And once a certain number of those are purchased, you score your deck and you whoever has the most points wins. So.
Plus it's got these great little lines on it here. Like the author's name on all the books is Paige Turner. You know, this one's Dead Planet. Life on this rock was supposed to be extinct. Now their lives would be extinct. I mean, all the cards have great stuff like that on it. I love the thing.
So it's a fun little deck building game.
Yep.
I like it's a good combo. So if you know someone who likes word games,
and you want to get into like board gaming,
so it teach them how to play a deck builder via a word game.
Corrupting all of our friends.
So next up is another, like I said, there's 3 in a row word games. The next one up is Wordsy. Appropriately enough, Wordsy.
Wordsy.
So Wordsy is another.
It's another one that's awesome.
This one's a little different in the fact that you're going to put a group of letters out, and then it's like a race to write a really massive word that uses as many of those letters as you possibly can. And then you compare notes, and you get score those based on what row they're in is worth a different number of points. You get a certain number of points. You do that for several rounds, and high point wins.
Now, this is like coming from a different thought process than paperback. Because paperback, you've got to have a card for every letter.
Right.
But this one, you can make up a word that just includes the letters that are there. You can add as many extra letters as you need to make a really cool word.
Yep.
So, depending on what kind of word games you're good at, you'll probably be better at one than the other.
Yeah, this one tests your vocabulary a lot more than paperback
does. I mean, for a challenge, I definitely like this one more. But I'm not as good lately at paperback for some reason. Go figure. I guess I don't want to follow rules and stick to my letters and my words. But yeah, it's fun. I like this one.
I'll say some of the words that we...
Some of these are very portable, too. Like, this one's really portable again. You can see what he dug out. There's not much.
Diagramming, handcart, hauntingly, froggy, caravan, devoted, and quickenings.
Add that S on there. Sneaky. But yeah, it's funny some of the big words you'll come up with. What's fun too is I think there was I want to say, was it Wordsy that was on Twitter, where they will give you a set of letters on Twitter and you can go in and you can try to do Wordsy. At least they did that for a while. I don't know if they're still doing that. That was pretty cool.
Mr. Figs will answer your question right now because next up is hardback.
Woot woot! Oh, yeah. This one's sneaking up on me.
So,
be honest.
Again, until I say otherwise, these are all rated a 7. So, hardback is the sequel. I guess they call it a prequel or a sequel. I don't know what
probably a sequel.
But anyway, it's very similar to paperback. In my personal opinion, paperback is a more introductory. Mm-hmm. I don't know if gateway is the right word, but it's a very more...
It's a little simpler. It's a little bit simpler.
Yeah, then this paperback tricks it up, adds some difficult, more strategy to it. Yeah. There's more things going on. Yep. Like in hardback, when you're collecting the cards to build your words, they have different types of books. So they'll have like mysteries and science fiction or whatever. And then if you've ever played Star Realms or any game similar to that, they combo off each other. So
Yep.
if you play a word that has like 2 mystery cards on them, they get a superpower and they combo off each other.
It reminds me a lot of Star Realms when you have the different factions. It's got a faction bonus basically. So if you have a genre bonus, and it adds a little more meat to the word game, which I like that. They also have they have whiteout and the little ink bottles. I still can't decide about those.
Yeah, what the ink lets you do is once you build up some ink, there's different ways to collect it, but you can press your luck.
That's true.
So let's say you have your standard hand of 5 cards, and you go, I think I'm going to draw 1 more card. So you play an ink, and you get to draw an additional card, but that card has to be in your word. Yeah. And you can keep playing ink and adding more cards, but you're going to make it harder and harder for you to make a word out of what extra cards you draw. But if you can do that, you can score a lot of points that way.
True.
So the question was, do you need both? And I personally don't think you do. Unless
you really like
you have someone who is not as a big gamer, and you would play paperback with them. But then for your wordsy gamer friends, you would play hardback with them because it's got more going on with it. So we have both, and I don't see us getting rid of either one because Rebecca could probably use paperback at school.
Yeah.
And hardback is probably what we like. We're getting to like this one better.
That one better. Well, and here's the thing, too. I mean, if you are more getting into games that have wordplay and stuff, then you would probably get both because they're just different enough. But if you just want to have a word game in your collection, they're close enough. You probably could, pick and choose what you were thinking about.
Yeah, but if I was to step back and only buy one of all 3 of those, this is the one I would
probably
buy.
Really? I don't know. Wordsy. This
one's got more meat.
This one's got more meat to it, I guess. The Wordsy has more wordiness.
What just happened? So that's hardback. So let's move on to my number 12, a brand new game. We just got this game like 3 or 4 days ago, but we already played it, and that is Revolution of 1828. So this is the brand new, unheralded Stefan Feld game.
Stefan Feld, yeah.
It has hardly been talked about for possibly good reason, because if you took Stefan Feld's name off of this, I would not have guessed in a million years this was his game.
Nope.
It is nothing like anything I've ever played of his. It's, imagine Battle Line with a little bit more randomness and a little bit more meat to it.
And even more Take That.
Yes, and more Take That.
Yeah, a lot of Take That, which again is very weird after playing Feld's.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't feel like Feld at all.
This is nothing like... I'd almost guess that someone else made this game and they put his name on it. But I'm just guessing.
Yeah, it's weird. It really is weird. It's not what you're...
So it's basically Battle Line. So one person is John Quincy Adams. The other person is Andrew Jackson.
You could be whoever.
And you never know who's who because you don't even have anything to say which is which.
No.
So it's 2 guys, politicians facing off. You can make it anyone you want.
Yeah, it
it centered around the 1828 election, which was big. They started using a lot of the newspapers to...
You said this was like the first smear campaign.
And they started doing a lot of smear campaigns on each other through the newspapers and stuff like that. So you basically have your side of the campaign and their side, and it's basically like Battle Line. You have different regions of the country that you're vying for votes, but it's just tokens, and you're manipulating, getting tokens on your side of the board versus their side of the board. If you get the most, you get more votes, and there's some take that's and special powers and things like that. But it's really random.
It can be
really thinky.
Yeah, it's funny because on the surface you're like, okay, this is dumb, but when you start planning out your turns, you realize that, oh, what I pick actually could have some long-term effects because there's opportunities for people to get a second turn, and that's crazy powerful in this.
Yeah, you learn. We played twice. No, we only played it once, right? We only played it once, but by midway through the game, we're like, oh, we're starting to see how the combos work and where the strategy is and how things. So I would say it's got a little more meat than Battle Line. So if you want a pure game, Battle Line may be the way to go. But if you want something that has weird
it's a real subtle strategy too,
and a lot of thinkiness and kind of a playing chicken a little bit with taking tokens, and I enjoyed it. I destroyed Rebecca, but.
It took me a lot longer to figure out what the heck was going on with the combos.
It's very puzzly.
It's real subtle on the puzzles.
It's very puzzly. You don't
see it at first. It's really interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. they're just different enough. I don't know. Like you said, I guess a straight, more classical version is Battle Line, and this is definitely more sneaky.
So this is this is a 2-player only. It plays in about 30, 45 minutes or so.
Oh, probably even less than that, really, unless you really think through.
It's interesting. It's very. When I first set it up and looked at it, I thought, man, this has got nothing. This is like, this is just all fluff. And then we started playing and like, oh, that's how that works. Whoa, wait a second. And
it's not a looker for a game.
Before we knew what we were doing, she did a move and let me do like 3 turns in a row.
I basically handed him the game that one.
I'm like, oh, I see how it works now. So it's interesting, but it's not. Mm-hmm. This would probably be of the Felds we have. This would probably be dead last.
Yeah, it does not.
This or La Isla would be dead last for me personally.
I like La Isla. I mean, it's not that I don't like.
It's an interesting little 2-player game. I want to play it again. I mean, after we played, I was ready to play again because it's like, oh, okay, this is how it works.
Yeah, so you start to figure it out.
I can see some people would like it just because it's interesting and it's 2 players, plays fast. So there you go.
Very cool.
All right, that's number. What number was that?
I don't know. 15? 13?
12.
12. All right.
All right, number 11. Still in the 7s.
Okay.
It is a family favorite. Not one of my favorites, but a family favorite.
This one I'm missing? Yep. Okay.
And Rebecca can talk about this one because she likes this one quite a bit.
And I love card games. Herbaceous. It's got beautiful art, of course, because I think, this is another Beth Sobel classic. She does all sorts of cool stuff. But it's just a nice, relaxing little card game. And both girls, I think, I'm trying to remember if Katie's played this one. I can't remember now.
She has.
Katie played it and liked it too. Nessa likes it. So everybody likes to play it. It's a fun one. It doesn't take up a huge amount of table space, and again, it's highly portable. But it's just different set collections. And you have a common garden that everybody can put stuff into, and then you have your own personal garden where people can't take your plants out of that one. And then once you get certain sets that you want to get, and you have to kind of keep an eye on the common garden, because after a while those resources, people can just take those as they want, and you can lose the opportunity to get some great combos. So it's a little bit of a press your luck on when you want to grab your set collection and score it. It's really neat. For what it is, it's got quite a bit of,
it's a great family weight game. It plays fast. Kids can play it.
It's pretty. It's just, I love it.
Yeah, that one's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Nope. And again, you could put it's another just cards and a couple little token pieces and stuff that you really don't even need the token pieces. And so you could bag it up, have a wonderful time with it. Awesome. All
right, another game that is light and fun
this one
is
Lanterns. This one's another beauty. I like playing this one on the table. And it's all about, it's almost a domino-esque kind of game that's tricked up, and matching up your lanterns, colors and designs and things like that to get sets, and you want to get different kinds of sets that give you different kinds of points, victory points. And again, it's kind of similar to Herbaceous in that you a little bit of a race, right? Because the sooner you get those sets, the victory points you get from them go down, the more people turn them in and collect them. So you want to get in your sets as soon as possible and get the most victory points out of it. In fact, I think I lost out on this game because people beat me like the turn before I was going to go turn stuff in. They do it and snatch the higher victory point count. So it's another beautiful family weight. Gorgeous, awesome.
I can't add more to that. Well said.
Woot woot.
All right, we're moving on to number...
I'm sure.
Number 9. We're still in the 7s. We're about to be in the 8s, I think.
I'm assuming...
Yeah, we're about to be in the 8s. No.
No?
No.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Le Havre Inland Port. So
2-player only.
2-player only Le Havre game. It's I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me want to play the real Le Havre, which I like 2 players as well. So
yeah.
So I mean, this place, it has its place because it's
It's quicker.
It's half an hour maybe.
I think so. Yeah, it's quick.
It's just fast, but it makes me want to play Le Havre. So basically, it's resource management. You're collecting all these resources to buy buildings. You use those buildings to get more resources more efficiently. The buildings are worth points, and you just keep buying buildings and buying buildings. Eventually, you're going to get buildings that give you special victory points at the end. it's just a quick little game, resource management. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. The only minus I can see is I think you play with the same buildings every time. But we repeat games so infrequently. I don't think that would be a problem. But if someone played this all the time, they may start getting...
This would get samey.
It would get a little bit samey, I think. But it's a good one. I mean, I like all the Uwe games. These little two-player games pretty equally well. I probably like Agricola more. It's probably Agricola, this one, than Cave versus Cave.
Really? Interesting.
So yeah, it's good. It's fun. It's all right. If you like resource management games, this is a really good one.
And this one is another one that really doesn't need this whole box for it either. It's another one that could be put down a little bit smaller. So a lot of these are really portable that we've been playing recently. Yep. It's kind of cool. So
all right, let's move up to the 8s.
It's gotta be this one.
Yes,
this is an 8.
I like this game. I know it's fun.
Do. It's funny. You'd never guess the way you reacted last time.
Kabuki, no, I think Targi's better than any of them.
Oh, I love Targi. Oh my goodness.
Targi and Agricola, all creatures, might be neck and neck.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I
think that one's a lot weaker than Targi.
Yep.
But for something different, and especially if you like that Le Havre theme, it's right up your alley. I mean, if you like doing those little buildings and stuff in Le Havre, you might really get into that game because it's all about the buildings and the combos.
Yeah.
So I can see where people can go nuts over it.
Yep. And you can use other people's buildings.
Yeah, that's cool too. You just pay them a
just
coin.
Just like Le Havre.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, tell us about Spec Stack.
This game, this is one step away from lifeboats from what everybody says. It is one of the meanest games out there that you can find. This one tricks up the regular survive, because on that one you're on a tropical island that's disappearing. This one's out in space, so it's a little bit different. The creatures all have the same basic abilities, but in this space station, whatever it is that's disintegrating, you have cannons, and you can shoot and capture monsters, which you, at the beginning of your turn, can strategically place anywhere you want on the board, which can be really fun. And let me tell you what people do with that. Plus, there's also, besides your little lifeboat spaceships, you also have these little fighter spaceships that they also can go run into people and capture monsters that they can use to put them on the board anywhere they want the next turn. So it has that potential to be even meaner at times.
It's more brutal than regular survive.
Churning through the monsters much more quickly. And so you're just throwing those everywhere. It's hysterical. I think I like this one better. Just because
I like this one better. It's brutal. I would say you get about half the people off as compared to survive. In this game.
Yeah, if you're playing it right.
It's more fun. It's flying around with little spaceships, shooting stuff.
Well, that's the other thing. The spaceship fighter, and I forgot to, it moves like a queen does in chess, so it's like whoosh, linear, and you can go in one straight line as far or as short as you want. So, queen, or the rook, really. So it's pretty awesome. I really like how that changes it up, because everything else is like plod one step at a time.
But you only put one guy in it at a time.
Yeah, there's only one in it, too. It's a riot. So, yeah, this one...
I like this one. This is a good one.
It is so brutal. Make sure you have a discussion with your friends ahead of time that, don't take this personally. This is in way no reflection upon our relationship. Yes.
Soon to be former friends.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's see. Let's go to number 7.
Woot woot. Oh, yeah.
It's a good one.
Yay! San Juan.
Or now I think they're calling, I don't know if it's out yet, but it's going to be Puerto Rico, the card game will be the new name for this.
What?
Yes.
What's wrong with San Juan? Why doesn't
Because it is a card game based on the highly acclaimed strategy game Puerto Rico. It's going to be Puerto Rico, the card game, if it isn't already. This is San Juan.
It's San Juan.
Second edition. It's a good one. It's a lot like Puerto Rico. There's resource management. You have role selection, just like Puerto Rico. There's a set of roles. You pick one. You get a power and a bonus power. Everyone just gets to do the regular power. You build the buildings that make things more efficient and trick things up. You produce resources and you trade those resources, and cards is your currency. So you're collecting cards and you spend those cards to buy buildings or spend it for various things. So
it's also kind of like Bruges with the multi-purpose cards too. You use the cards for more than just one thing, which I really like that about the game. So pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Very fun.
And it's just basically some tiles for the rolls and a deck of cards.
Yeah, it's another one of those that I think the score pad's the biggest thing on this.
Yeah.
Well, the rules,
they
of
give
course.
you this whole thing, but yeah, it's just a big fat deck of cards.
Yeah, the score pad is a little bit
And
bigger.
then the roll cards.
That's it.
That's it. This is the whole game.
A lot of portable games tonight. That's interesting. I feel like this is like a
It's a good one.
little side commentary about portable games. I love it.
Don't even. And we won't. We won't comment.
Oh my
We
gosh.
won't comment on what Rebecca did during the game.
I was tired. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know you're gonna do it.
So
You're evil.
when you like in Puerto Rico, when you sell your resources, you get money back, and in this game you get cards as effectively your money, and you can use those cards. They're added to your hand, and you spend those to buy buildings and whatever you want to do. Right? She thought it meant they were actual money, so she was collecting the cards off to the side. So she was card poor the entire game. And she kept doing the roll that gives her more cards, and I kept thinking, back in my head, I'm like, why is she doing that every single turn? And then at the end of the game when we're scoring, she's like, what about all my money? And then she had this big stack of cards that she should have been playing with the whole time. That's number 7, San Juan. That's an 8. We're gonna move on to number 6. That's Everdell.
Oh my goodness.
So at BGG Spring, I bought the collector's edition of Everdell at the virtual flea market, and this one's really cool. So this is a worker placement game with card drafting, I guess, card buying. You buy cards, and then basically you have a tableau of cards. Those cards give you powers and victory points and resources and all sorts of stuff. It's a pretty straightforward Euro game, but
don't worry about it.
But the production value is off the charts. The resources are beautiful. The board is beautiful. The cards are beautiful. It has this ridiculously massive tree that you put cards on.
It's kind of cute how they have it
stacked. It has gold coins. Well, I'm talking about the collector's edition. I don't know what the regular edition has.
True.
It was just fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the tableau. I enjoyed how the cards combo off each other. I like getting the gold cards. You basically have to collect certain types of combos of cards to get the gold cards. It's just a really solid little Euro game.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So, yeah, I can see what the hype was about. I mean, the game at its core, just looking at the mechanisms, it's not anything mind-blowingly new or anything like that, but the way they executed it, and then with the nice touches of all the fun bits, I think really put it at a high level. Because, I mean, if it was just a bare bones production, and I'm not talking about the base game that they have, but, making it cheaply, I don't think it would have done...
tokens for the resources.
Yeah, just really...
And the art wasn't as good.
Yeah, I think that this would be a completely different turnaround. It's got a nice...
The animal theme is cute.
Yeah, it was well done. Well produced. We did miss... Kabuki had a question about how we liked... Race for the Galaxy versus San Juan, how does it compare?
I personally like Race for the Galaxy a little bit more.
Me too. Little bit more. I just like the way
I just like the I don't know, I just like how
two different ways to purchase.
It's very similar. It's basically you select the action, you get a benefit. And
I like the way the production works in Race for the Galaxy better. I feel like I'm getting more and doing more with the production. And this one, unless you really just go all out with that, it's really hard to produce a lot at a time. Unless you get specific cards that allow you to do that. To me, I don't feel like I'm doing as much. I don't know.
I'm fine with either. Really, it's just whatever, if I'm into the space theme or not. Hey, don't destroy our...
I'm trying not to.
So there you go. That's Everdell Collector's Edition that we have. So, number 5, we're still hanging in with the 8s. This is the Networks.
Oh, man.
So we finally got around to playing. We've got the expansion, the executive expansion, and also the on-the-air expansion for this.
Guys, this game...
We finally got to play with everything. We threw everything in and played it, and it was awesome. It was really good.
This game is fun. Every time we play it, I keep thinking, I'm going to get sick of seeing the cards or something like that. It's not. I'm not even a little bit tired of this game.
It's fun. There's a bunch of new cards, I like the fact that the expansion gives everyone a unique power that's very powerful. I love that in games. It's just a lot going on. It's fun. It's goofy. It's silly. I like reading the cards and comboing. Like you might have like a Shakespearean actor on Monday Night Tiddlywinks, and it's like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's a card drafting game. It's pretty much all cards. You're drafting cards. You're building out a TV lineup. You have an 8, 9, and 10 o'clock slot, and you're putting shows in there and putting stars and ads on the shows, trying to get the most viewers, and viewers are your victory points.
What I like too is that all this new stuff that they added, it didn't extend the gameplay. So that's also something that's really nice.
And we played like a massive cutthroat crazy game, and we ended up within 2 points of each other.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing.
It was like 134 to 132. What are the odds? Anyway,
yeah, it was really crazy. But yeah,
we won't say who won.
Interesting.
You actually won.
I know. That's why I said interesting. But no, it's... Oh my gosh, this
You
game
actually
is
won
still...
like I said that?
Yeah, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Networks is good. The expansions make it better. So there you go.
Yeah, that's one of those... They did a fantastic job with the expansions. Oh.
All right, we have arrived at the 9s. We have arrived. 9s.
Ooh, okay.
We're in the 9s with...
Dun, 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 dun,
Bruges.
More of a Stefan Feld. This is Feldy Feld.
This is a Stefan Feld.
This is Feldy Feld. This is one of the
We journeyed from Revolution of 1828 through all those games to arrive at Bruges.
Yes.
Expansion does fit in the box. We'll back up for the networks.
Yep, hold on. We got to back up. We got a question.
So it does, but you have to do it hunter style.
Yes.
Which is this.
It is chock full with the expansions now.
And I labeled the different things, but yeah.
Yeah, chock full. The box has...
There's some room. There's a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit of room.
They can have a mini expansion.
All right, so Bruges, it's one of my favorite Felds, therefore it is high up on this list.
Yeah.
We enjoyed this one quite a bit. Sadly out of print, but I suspect in 2023, if you hold out, there'll be a 10-year anniversary edition.
Hang on, guys, just hang in there.
They need to reprint this one. This is one of his better ones.
It's too good. It's usually one of a lot of people's intro, right? Isn't this a lot of intro to Feld?
No.
Really?
Castles.
Really? Well, that makes sense. But Bruges, I would feel like Bruges should be too.
Bruges has got a lot going on with those six different things with each card.
So does Castles.
No.
Yeah.
No. You take a tile.
We need to have a Feld debate. Yeah.
So Bruges is a card. It's a multi-use card game. That's basically the brunt of it.
Yeah,
basically, every card had 6 different things you can do with it.
6 people.
I'm not gonna go through all of them, but basically you got a hand of cards. Each turn you're gonna play some of those cards. Some of them you're gonna play for money. You're gonna get more workers and things like that. But you're basically gonna build a tableau of buildings with people in them, and people give you special powers, in-game scoring, all sorts of stuff. You're also building canals, going up tracks, just like Feld, point salad everywhere. It has dice rolling. The dice, there's like 5 different colors of dice. Those dice power your cards and help you get points in various ways. Point salad. It's a really good one. I like this one. I like it's one of the what I call punitive Feld, but it's not so punitive that you can't avoid it. So basically,
yeah, you can manage it pretty easily.
You can get rid of the stuff with your using the cards. Is one of the things you can use the cards for, is to get rid of the bad things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just let the bad things happen because they're not that bad.
Yeah.
You just let it happen. Yeah. So it's a good one. I like it. It's probably top 5 Felds for me.
Really?
Let's see.
Don't forget Amerigo's up there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow,
It's around there, 5 or 6 or 7.
Wall of Felds.
Somewhere in there, 5, 6, 7. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's pretty high up. It's good.
What you got to say?
I say that boy needs his hand slapped.
He's trying to get an apple.
He's stealing. Look at that imp face too. He's like,
it's his mom.
It is not. She's gonna slap him.
That's all you have to say. All right.
That's all I have to say.
All right. Next up is Village.
Troll. You gotta play a Feld someday.
So Village. This is your kind of your what do you call a cube pushing Euro game? But it has some.
We literally push the little cubes.
So it has it's kind of reminds me a little bit of Trajan, kind of, because it's got different things going on in different parts of the board. So it's kind of worker placement-esque. It's basically you take a cube off of a location, and you're going to take the action of that location. you may be putting some of your workers there to get benefits later on or immediately. And then you take those cubes and you can use those cubes almost like a resource to do various things for. You can buy items with it. You can get extra turns. You can use them to travel and things like that. We have all the expansions. We play with all the expansions. We have the port and the inn expansions for this. So I just like it. It's one of those games that we never think to play, but then when we play it, we're like, oh yeah, this is really good. And I really love this one. It's a good one.
This is my favorite out of the Village or My Village. I like Village.
I like this one better. Yeah, and it has the both Village and My Village has that mechanism where as time passes, your workers age and die, and so the younger generations have to take over for the older generations. And there's some strategy on where you put those workers because eventually you pull them off the board when they die. So you want to put some of your younger generations in the places that you want them to stay there for the entire game, because if you put the older generations there, they're going to get pulled off and you're not going to get that in-game benefit for them. So
don't send Grandpa adventuring alone.
Don't send Grandpa to work in the church. Because
what's hilarious is the end game. One of the ways the game ends is the graveyard's filled up. I don't know why that cracks me up. I'm just like, full of dead people.
It's the passage of time.
Quit. Yeah. But no, it's a cool game. I like just all the decisions that you can have. There's a lot of different ways to get victory points in that. And I just like that there's several different strategies that are viable in that one, too.
Yeah, I went heavy traveling this time.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up winning. Did I end up winning? I think I did.
I think you did.
Yeah, I did.
Not by a lot.
I focused in on the traveling and did a lot of the driving the little boat around doing stuff. In the base game, you actually walk around to different cities,
and it's fun too. The base game's cool.
Yeah, the base game's
And if
fine.
you get crazy about it, then the expansions are great for it. But the base game's cool. I mean, there's really no reason. You don't have to get the expansion to get a really good experience with this. So.
All right, so there you go. That's Village. It's a good one. All right.
Man, is it
okay? Next up, and this one has potential to go way up because the first time I played it, we we got taken behind the shed and beat up. But I love it.
Oh, Splatter.
Antiquity. So this is the third Splatter I've played. The second one I own. It is crazy, brutal, punitive, death, literally Splatter.
Yeah.
This game literally can beat you. And what's funny is the first time we played it, about maybe 2 or 3 rounds in, it became a semi-co-op game.
We did just for survival
because we were so getting overwhelmed with death and punishment and pollution and all sorts of... You can get eliminated in this game.
Easily. So that's why we semi-worked together.
We were getting close to getting eliminated, so we kind of switched gears and... what's the question?
2 hours.
Nah,
that's a lie.
It's
2 to 3.
If you know what you're doing and everyone knows the rules and you stay focused, 2 hours. If you don't know what you're doing and no one knows the rules, it's about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I think for us it was a solid 3.
But the thing I love about this game and the reason I think it has potential to go up is as soon as we were done, we spent probably half an hour
talking about
what we did wrong, what we could do different, how would we approach a new game. It was just, it's one of those games that's just so, my brain churned. I was laying in bed and like thinking, okay, my first round, what would I do differently?
Oh my gosh.
My first round,
well,
second round.
And
I love games like that. It's like video games. When you play a good video game and you get done, you're like, oh, that was really awesome.
It really is.
It's all we could do is talk about how we would do it differently. So.
Well, what I enjoy about it, do you know anything about the game from this cover? No. So... what you're doing in this, it's almost like playing Civilization, the computer game.
Right.
But it is actually, it's very much like, especially if you played the more recent Civilization game. What is that? Civ 5, 6, whichever one it is. I can't remember now. All of a sudden, you have to do things in a specific order to start building up your civilization, or you just go and you paint yourself into a corner.
Right.
You know, you run out of... it was amazing. How... once we started, we're like, I see.
Yeah, we got a couple rounds in, and we're like, oh, man. And then it was just a struggle. We were like trading friendly, being nice to each other to try to survive.
To see, I was like, okay, at this point, I know one of us is going to win over the other, but let's just try to help each other a little bit. Yeah, it was an interesting approach to it, actually. I don't think I would want to play it, honestly, truly. I would not want to play this with somebody who did not give a crap and wanted to play Cutthroat.
Right.
Because I wouldn't do it. Because I am all about trying to see what you can do and get done, and we all knew you were going to win after a while because of the way things were set up.
I had 3 cities, and you guys were on your 2nd city.
I mean, I had a shot. If things had gone a little bit differently in a couple places, I had built up a really low pollution thing. One thing that you get in the game as you're producing goods or settling and farming and stuff, everything creates pollution. So you have to have some kind of mechanism to either expand quickly so you have more land to pollute, or something to clean up what you have. And I had a pretty good system going, but I didn't have enough resources. I was kind of resource poor as far as expanding to build up and actually go to the next level of my civilization, so to speak. And you had, I don't know how, you had like this crazy fast put down buildings thing, and that's what saved you. Because there's also, 6 different ways you can win the game? There's 6 different end conditions, and you have to declare which one you're going for, which is interesting too. And if you get that, then
you can decide at any point during the game to do it.
Yeah, you could wait till 3/4 through the game and be like, okay, this is how I'm going to win the game. You have to declare it though before.
But when you do declare, you do get a pretty powerful superpower.
Yeah. So we all declared fairly early, which I think did help us. But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, this game's amazing. I wanted to. I didn't care that it was late. I wanted to rack it up and go again. That's how much. I almost
did too, honestly.
I was like, I want to try this again because
I want to try it again soon for that reason.
Yeah, it's just so good. So we're gonna try it again. We're gonna try it 2-player fairly soon. There's kind of the Care Bear version of it. I can't decide whether we want to do that or just go full into the real game. Yeah,
because it's funny because you can play it without the death and pollution, right?
Right.
Isn't that what but it's almost like it takes too much away, possibly.
And learning how to play that way will teach you how to play the real game wrong.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's what's scary because you have to figure out how to compensate for that in the real game.
It's a great Civ game. It's really punitive.
Sid Meier would love this.
It's a splatter game. If you haven't ever played a splatter game, one thing I find amazing about his games is this game is the depth of this game is like the ocean because there's so many choices, so many different ways to play, so many things to do.
It's another.
I'm not going to pull it out, but the rule book is 12 pages long.
It's not that big,
and there's a lot of pages that show examples like this is how this works and that works. It probably boils down to about 6 pages of rules, but it is one of the heaviest, deepest games we own. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, it was rough.
And all his games are like that. Food Chain Magnate is like 7-8 pages of rules. It's just
but there's so much to it.
The design is insane. When you buy a splatter game, they're crazy expensive. The components are not that great.
Yeah.
But what you're paying for is an incredible, amazing design that is so. Anyway, yeah. I could preach on that a while.
You could be one of their salespeople.
I could be. You're paying for the design because that design is
amazing.
Is amazing. It's like genius.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how on earth they play tested.
So if I play that again, and I actually don't feel like I'm getting crushed by the weight of 1,000 suns when I'm playing it, it'll probably go up to a 10.
I could see it.
But a game that I like slightly better at this point, and I finally got a hold of it, Crown of Imara. Yay! So you know about this one. We've talked about this one. Unbeknownst to me, I did some massive research. There was a very, very small, like tiny U.S. print run.
Really?
That happened.
Really?
That no one knew about. Cool. No one got copies except maybe a few local stores.
What?
There was a very, very tiny U.S. print run.
How interesting.
I think Miniature Market got a few copies. Cool Stuff I don't think got any copies of it.
Interesting.
And some local game stores got it.
And one of our local, semi-local game stores. It's a bit of a drive for us. It's local.
45-minute drive from us, but they had copies, and it's just sitting in the corner of their game store. But the problem is, no one knows about it. No one's advertised for it. It's a hidden gem at this point. It is going to get a U.S. full-blown English print in the fall. This is the European version. It's in released in Germany, and it's got German and British rules, English rules, but it's not made for English speakers because it's really
American.
It's like they took the German version and kind of translated it. I mean, it's not like a full-blown design for an American release, which I think it's going to come out. I guess it's coming out at Gen Con. But if not, then sometime in the fall.
Yeah, this is an awesome game. Love the way that it's got basically 2 boards. That it's a rondel on each side. And you get to choose, as your turn goes, which worker you want to move on the board to do the action. So one side is like resource gathering, and then the other side is what you do with the resources and collecting things to get your crowns and level up and get victory points and all that. So it's a really cool balance of like, do I want to collect a whole bunch of resources? Do I want to mix and match? And I really like the balance in this game. And it plays fast. Yeah, it's not one that overstays its welcome.
It's about a 45-minute game for two players. It's probably add 15 minutes per player.
And now that we're starting to get the hang of it, I think we could shave a few minutes off of it too, just because we're starting to see how it works a little bit. And I just a real smooth play. It's fun.
It's got a cool scoring system. A few games have it where you have basically 2 scoring tracks. And so whichever track you're the furthest behind in is your score. So if you run away with one score and you don't work on the other one, you're not going to win because this one's so low. So you got to kind of balance moving them up. I think Heaven and Ale has a similar scoring system. It's just a really solid, fun Euro game. They've got the double rondel going on, like she said. It's just... I like it. I like it, and it's like boom, boom, boom. The game's over. It's like wow. It's
you just want to play it again. After
it feels like a 90-minute Euro game that got condensed down into 45 minutes.
Absolutely, fantastic.
It's a great one.
So,
not quite a 10. It's like right there, but not quite a 10. There you go. There's our resolution update. It only took us like 3 hours to go through all these games.
That's a lot of games.
So let's kind of recap real quickly.
Fun chatting with you guys about the games.
The Cole games, Thebes, Tales of Arabian Nights, Rivals for Catan, Revolution, and...
What's all this over here?
That one.
This one?
So I pulled out this to play with Nessa, and Nessa said, we broke that game, remember? And I'm like, oh yeah, we broke that game. We literally played in such a way that we could not continue with the game.
Yeah.
The game just stopped.
Yep.
And at that point, I said, I'm not playing this game anymore. Any game that has a design flaw that it can just stop.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot play anymore.
I know. And it made me sad because until then, I really enjoyed playing that.
Like, we needed a certain... I can't remember exactly. This is kind of my foggy memory.
It had something to do with the resources.
We needed a certain resource, and there was actually... Everyone needed the same resource to move on, and there was no way to get that resource.
Yeah, there was...
Or something like that. I can't remember how it was, but we just stalled out, and we're like... We can't win. All right, whoever's the most points, you win. Because it just stopped. Yep. Which is really weird to me that you would have. I mean, it could have been a 1 in a million. I mean, not 1 in a million. 1 in 1,000 chance of that happening. But the fact that it happened kind of blows my mind. But anyway, so yeah, Nessa reminded me, so cold. And we didn't play it. So that's why it wasn't on the update. So it's getting cold.
Bye, Rocky Road. It was fun till we broke you.
So that's all our Coles. New games. So our new games, to recap, we got Antiquity, which we talked about, Revolution of 1828, Crown of Amara, and a game we haven't played yet.
Keyforge! Yes, I'm so excited. Can you tell? More Keyforgey goodness. This is, and supposedly this has... Can I open it?
Yeah, open it up and let's see what
see what random decks we got, guys.
The original Keyforge starter deck had 2 standardized decks that everyone got the same deck. This one, on the other hand, has random decks. So it's not much more expensive than what the 2 decks would cost. And we get all our tokens that we kind of made some homemade tokens, but we get all the tokens now. So we have all the tokens. We have a little play mats, some little paper play mats.
Seriously? Come on now.
And 2 random decks, whereas the other game had standardized decks.
Lord Almond Weevil, the Civil Malcontent. Love Keyforge.
Lord Almond Weevil, the Civil Malcontent.
I think I have a new favorite.
I like it.
I may have
How can you be a civil malcontent?
He's cynical.
So he's lawful evil?
Possibly. Yes.
Or is that chaotic good? I don't know.
Okay, and then we have overgrown rows of the repository.
What?
These are the best. Oh,
At first, I thought you said suppository.
that would be even better. What would that even mean?
Oh, man.
I may rewrite that one. But yes, I like Lord Almond Weevil, the civil malcontent, and overgrown rows of the repository.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
fantastic.
So there you go. We got this. Again, I did this for two things: to get new decks, and as well as to get all the little tokens. I mean, I made my own little tokens, but I kind of like having the official tokening.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
And we get these amazing play mats. Did you see them?
No, I did not, because I was too busy looking at the awesome decks. What? We have an actual playmat now?
No, it's
Oh,
paper.
man. I want to... Too bad laminating it would suck putting back in the box, though. Oh, but I like... Oh, they need to make nice ones.
You can buy them.
Can you?
Yeah. Your birthday's coming up.
Next year. Christmas. Oh, my goodness. All right. That was cool. This is... Oh, man.
There you go.
Such greatness in a box.
So this is Keyforge Age of Ascension, the new decks.
But it still plays the same and everything, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's
same
okay.
rules.
Okay.
I think they have some new abilities, maybe?
Okay, cool.
But otherwise...
If you like decks and not deck builder games, but like hand management, I guess would be better, right? What all? I'm trying to think of the. It's kind of like Magic.
Magic.
But the decks are pre-made. You get to build up your resources and attack people and get victory points, and I like that kind of game. I think it's fun, and I don't enjoy the card trade stuff so much. I mean, sometimes I like manipulating decks and fixing things and stuff, but just the fact that you've got everything pre-built and you've got a goofy name.
Is there new factions?
You know?
That's a good question.
Probably. I'm guessing there are. Oh, no. Doesn't say there. I'm trying to remember if the...
There's 7 factions. I
want to say that there are new ones because I don't remember a couple of these icons.
I don't know.
But yeah, or they just changed the design on them. That could be too. But yeah, I really enjoy. If you like card games like that you have to,
it's really smooth.
Yeah, it's smooth gameplay. It's just super fun.
Plays really fast.
It does play pretty fast. Well, it depends on the deck you have too.
For the most part,
it can
plays
vary.
Fast.
But yeah, it's just good times.
Billy Young just said there's no new houses.
Okay.
I thought they looked familiar.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm just forgetting, or maybe I don't have a deck that's got that one on it yet. That'll be exciting. But yeah, good times.
All right. So let's see what we got here. Oh, we got to talk about some games that we played that we do not own.
Oh, yes. Definitely. Go ahead.
So we played Sleuth. So
That's fun.
if you watch my By the Numbers Through the Years series over on the Dice Tower, you know that Sleuth is a top-rated game from 1970 on Board Game Geek.
Really? Is 1970?
I think 1970.
Wow.
So we played Sleuth. I was really enjoying Sleuth. I was having a great time. It was awesome. It's like Clue. It's like a kind of a logic puzzle. You have a bunch of cards in your hand. Everyone has cards in their hands. There's a few cards out in the middle. And you're trying to guess the one card that's been taken out of the deck by asking questions. But unlike Clue, you don't have to travel to a spot to find do things or whatever. You have a set of questions in front of you, and you pick one of those questions, and you ask it to someone, and they answer the question, and you get some information. And the people around the table could potentially get information as well. But just like Clue, if someone gives you wrong information...
It wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me.
It can make the game go completely off the rails. So...
You almost did.
What?
You almost mixed up some too.
Well, that was early on. I confused opals with pearls. Put a symbol in it. I mean, it's just like a little tiny icon. Put like a big giant pearl or something.
My eyes are old. I can't see.
So needless to say, someone gave some misinformation.
It wasn't me.
And caused things to fall.
Break.
Was Sleuth 71? I thought it was 70. No, 70 was Panzer Blitz. 71 was Sleuth. You're right. Kubi Kid's always on the spot.
See?
She's the kid that in the class that corrects the teacher.
I'm cool with that.
I did that in school too. And then there's another game There's another game called Zooscape, which should be burned. Should be just thrown in the trash. It was bad.
You didn't like that game.
I did not like that game at all. So it's a I split you choose mechanism, but it has a horrific mechanism that. So basically, you have a series of cards. You split them in half, and then everyone votes whether they want half one or half two. Simple enough, right? But if there's a tie, then you take that half and break it into two halves again, and you vote again. And then if there's still a tie, you break that half into two halves, and you vote again. That is the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life.
And we only played it 4 players, so I can only imagine how long that game would go with more players, right? Because I think it goes up to 6.
Oh my gosh, it was bad.
And half the time you're sitting there just waiting because you're not involved in that particular thing, and I mean...
So
it was
donuts,
interesting.
Go Nuts for Donuts, which is a similar game where you have a series of cards and you vote on which one you want, but it has a mechanism where if you vote for the same card, you get nothing, which is bad.
Yeah.
But it speeds the game along. It's like, boom, you get this card, these cards get discarded, they'll set up a new cards next round.
Mm-hmm.
This one's like divide, 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 divide. Okay, you get nothing because you tied 7 times.
Yeah.
Then you go back to the original half and you go divide, divide. I could not imagine this with a lot of players. It would be insanity.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry.
But Sleuth, I thought was a blasty blast.
Sleuth
Do you
was
know what
really
it is?
good.
It's Bailey mentioned it. It's like a logic puzzle because the way, and I liked the way Tommy had printed out and laminated a thing like somebody unmentionable. I mean, something like that. Anyway, had reprinted out so you have it in a folder so you can kind of hide your answers and stuff better and mark on it with a marker to erase it. And it was like filling out those logic puzzles you played with in school where you're like, Sally has one red shoe, but Billy has the other, and you're like trying to figure out, okay,
Sally's older than Sarah, but Sarah's older than Fred, and Fred's older than Joe. How old is Joe?
And you're like, ah! Yeah, but you're sitting there, so anytime anybody has that information, you're like, okay, and you're doing all the grid thing, just like you do the logic puzzle. I actually really enjoyed that, surprisingly, because I don't always get behind that stuff, but that was fun. It was a really fun game.
Yeah, I like Sleuth quite a bit. I want to play that one again.
Zooscape, not so much.
Zooscape was a womp womp. But every once in a while you have womp womps. So, yes, we had mentioned Spyfall's getting through the time travel. I mentioned that. Maybe our last resolution update, I mentioned that. Yeah, I'm going to get that one because it's like, you have like Neanderthal caveman and then like Knights of the Round Table.
Yes!
And like World War II
I'm terrible
soldiers
at that game, but that
or
would
whatever.
be...
It's just different.
I'm just
different
imagining
periods.
the roles. If you play roles with that, that's going to be hysterical.
Yeah, that's why I think it'll be funny. It's going to be interesting because we've always played the roles and we haven't played Spyfall in a long time, so that'd be a good reason to crack it out again and play it some more. So yeah, I like that one. The DC one I was like mildly interested in, but not enough to get it. Spyfall 2 is more the same, so I didn't get that one. Through the time period ones, it looks really cool. That one I'm probably gonna get.
It's gonna be a winner.
That's gonna be a free shipping.
Oh yeah. All right, so what were there any others that we?
Nope,
played?
that's it. We've done.
Those two?
We are caught up. We're into the going away bits. The going away bits.
The going away bits.
So, we're going to take a break from live streaming just because the summer it's like Nessa's in there playing video games. She has to play without the volume on and stuff like that causes problems. So we have to kind of shut down the house while we film and then bring it back up when we're done filming. So we're going to take a bit of a break from the live stuff, but we're going to do our best to keep you going with content. We're going to do pre-recorded top 10. So the plan, no guarantees because it is the summer. The plan is next Tuesday, we're going to do the pre-recorded shows during their same time slot. So it'll be the Tuesday nights if you're in the U.S. We're going to do top 10 2018 revisited, which we do every year around
I'm
this
excited
time.
about that list.
And oh my gosh.
It's tough. I've been starting it already. It's hard.
I went through all my games I rated a 9 or higher,
and
I had more than 10.
Yeah, I know, me too.
2018, for me at least, was insane. It was
awesome
insanely good. So,
awesome year.
So look for I flipped a good chunk of my list. I already kind of.
I haven't even looked at my
after
old
I
list.
made after I made my list. I looked at my old list and I flipped a lot of games.
Wow.
Flipped. dropped off the list. A better way to say it.
Wow.
And then the Tuesday after that, we're going to do the top 10 city/civilization games. We combine those into one list to give us more.
I'm excited
more
about that.
choices.
I'm excited about that.
So anything that has to do with building buildings or cities or civ games or the big space games where you're creating civilizations and building up from like a small place into a big place, anything like that qualifies for this list. So top 10 2018 revisited, and then top 10 city civilization games. And then the plan is to be back, that would put us into July, be back hopefully sometime early July, back on schedule again.
Maybe mid.
It just I feel weird shutting the house down.
Yeah, because we're like, be quiet in there.
While we film. So
Yeah.
so we're going to do more pre-recorded stuff, but don't worry, we'll be back with live stuff soon enough.
I like Troll's idea for a top 10.
What's that?
Top 10, what the heck is this games?
Is that crappy games? What does that mean?
Or just what the heck, like...
Neutral, explain that because it is interesting.
Even better if you don't explain it, but then you make your list and explain your list. That would be fun.
Just make it whatever you want.
However you interpret what the heck is this. That could be fun, because I know how I would interpret that.
I would just pick weird games with weird themes.
I would pick games that weird or had some weird contraption in it, or had some
weird
really
mechanism,
bizarre story or
some
weird mechanism where you're like, what is this garbage?
I like that. Write that down.
I did already.
That's a good one. I don't know what it means, but I like it.
I like it. See, I think that would be fun. Oh, dear.
The dice tower. You don't know what you just make up your own.
Make it up as you go. I know Sam always has a different
all three
definition.
people do a different top 10.
Hey, you know what? It
Tom
promotes
learned his lesson
discussion.
though. They now have a pre list discussion to get kind of figure out what's going on so they don't go off the rails.
I like
they had
off the
some where like
rails.
one person like did completely different lists than everyone
That's
else.
more exciting, and then you have a really wide variety of games to talk about. But
All right, so there it is. So you won't see us for a little while, but still tune into our pre-recorded stuff because
we're still gonna have some shenanigans. It's not gonna be boring.
the top 10 of the year revisited is one of my favorite lists to do because not only is
they're
it
amazing.
It's like the cream of the crop for the year, as well as you see the progression from the previous list to the current list.
Yeah, that's true.
I find that interesting. What's
I do
flipped.
too.
Because some of the games you might be like in your top 1 or 2 drop way down or even off the list, and you're like, okay, why did I like it so much?
And sometimes, like, especially if there's an innovative game or a new mechanism or something that comes out that year, or something that's just like a trend that year, and then you get into that and you're all enamored at first, but then you start to play some other games that incorporate it differently, and you're like, oh, the love is gone. It's interesting to see how it all morphs into something else.
That's an interesting one. I don't know if it would how well we would. It's games we really like, but we don't think we'll ever play more than 5 times. I don't know if there's any games.
Well, that's the thing. We get rid of those. We get rid of those now. If you keep track of the culling list, we'd be able to do.
But no, I mean, I think he mean. I mean, she means more like TI4. Like
okay. You like it, but it's probably not
like
going to get to play
it's so
much.
rare that the stars have to align to get a play done.
Actually,
like a lot of our big play count games would be like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, folks, that is all. So you won't see us live for a bit, but we'll be back and tune in on Tuesdays, hopefully.
Same bat time, same bat channel,
and we'll have the pre-recorded. So yeah, and when you watch the 2018, I'm sure I'll mention this when I make the video, but let us know what your favorites of 2018 are. So. All right, let's get out of here and let Nessa turn her volume up on her video game.
Let the summer games commence. Yes, bye all. Much love. Gold stars for everybody, and we will see you on the other side of summer. Bye.